How do we extricate ourselves from this train wreck of real estate pricing?
Well, it's not a total train wreck because it depends upon whose viewpoint you have. If you're a buyer right now, you're complaining that you can't possibly afford it. Interest rates have gone from 2.5% to 5.3, I think, as of yesterday. And so everything's less affordable. So it's a train wreck from a buyer's view. But interesting, Tom, is the buyers are not slowing down. People are still grabbing real estate as though nothing is happening. And that's making a lot of people nervous. It doesn't make me nervous, honestly, because I see that the underfootings of the market are very solid. They're real users buying real homes that aren't highly leveraged, and they aren't loaned out with crazy configurations.
If I look at Corcoran Group, that you built from scratch, if I look at it on, say, Tony Madison Avenue or down in the fancy downtown area, the number one fear is we don't want to make New York City look like a given East German city. We don't want row after row of ugly high rises. How do we create more housing that Mayor Adams wants without looking like a given city in Eastern Europe?
Well, the reality is they're not going to be putting affordable housing right next door to $15 million condos. It's just not going to happen. So whether you like the concept that there are some poor neighborhoods and some very, very rich neighborhoods, that die has been cast in New York a long, long time ago. There was never a time when Midtown Manhattan was inexpensive, nor will there ever be, I hope. But the problem really is in the city's court for making affordable housing. Our supply is like a third of what we actually need. And I think those public work programs are going to happen, and I don't think they're going to happen in the part of town that people want to impress their friends with. It's just not going to be.
Barbara, you're talking about how the footings of this market are incredibly solid, that people are not leveraging their purchases. Are you saying that the housing market of 2022 is more immune to the rising interest rates that a lot of people are hoping will dampen some of the price increases that we've seen on homes?
I'm not saying it's totally immune, but it's better equipped to handle it simply because you don't have leverage buying. In the Sun Belt right now, about 1 in 8 homes are being purchased by investors. That worries me. You didn't see that 2 years ago. So that makes a buyer that I'm not as confident in as a regular buyer who's going to raise their kids in that house. But the people who are buying homes today are not highly leveraged, and there are no bank programs that make them or tempt them to be leveraged out. And so that gives me a great peace of mind. Of course, interest rates is his partner in the housing market. If those continue to shoot up, the government will put down the housing market, and with it, the inflation and all the problems will follow the housing market. It's a leader in the inflation category. So that if that changes, if people are irresponsible in the government in that regard, of course we could demolish this housing market, but nobody's really expecting them to act that way. I hope you share my confidence.
What would you be investing in right now, Barbara, if you had $1 million, $2 million?
Well, what I'm investing in secondary cities. It used to be that the primary cities like New York City, Chicago was the best place for investments in real estate. And of course, I love that because it's a slow way to get very rich. But what I'm doing right now is I'm investing in minor cities, or secondary cities, I should call them, or they'll be offended, like Baltimore and many of the small cities in the Midwest, because the inflation rates are greatest there in real estate values.
Barbara, like Chicago or Los Angeles or Miami, right? As a secondary city.
Yes, thank you very much for giving me my words.
Barbara.
I was groping there.
Yeah, Barbara, a simple question which so many people want to know. If house prices go up 40%, should people's property taxes go up 40%?
No, I just don't think so. It would break the back of the housing market. You can't have that. People can't take it on both sides. No.